I request Mr. Akhilesh Rathi, President IMA and MD Savit Universal Limited, to escort on stage Dr. Himanshu Rai, Chairman of IMA Board and Director of IIM Indore, Mr. Shri Gopal Kabra, MD and Group President of RR Global, Mr. Sanjay Jain, MD of TT Limited, and Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Director and CEO of AU Small Finance Bank. May I request all the dignitaries on the stage to do the honors of lamp lighting ceremony. And may I also request Mr. Satish Chandra Gupta, DGM of State Bank of India, to also join for the lamp lighting ceremony. Thank you. May I now request Mr. Sanjeev Khanna from Patanjali Foods Limited and Ms. Shonali Paul, Board Member of IMA, to do the honors of giving floral welcome and presenting mementos to Dr. Himanshu Roy. Take me. Now I request Ms. Sushma Nandi from Business Automations and Mr. Santosh Muchal, CA and past President of IMA, to do the honors of welcoming and giving memento to Mr. Shri Gopal Kabra ji. I now request Mr. Prateek Maheshwari and Mr. Vijay Goyal to do the honors of welcome and presenting mementos to Mr. Sanjay Jain. पैक ही देना. May I now request Mr. Anil Joshi from Vishal Fab and Mr. Girish Mangla from Mangla Engineering to do the honors of welcoming Mr. Sanjay Agarwal and presenting the memento. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Himanshu Rai, Chairman of Board of Governors of IMA, to declare this conclave open.
Very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. I declare the 30th IMA International Management Conclave open.
Thank you, sir. And with this, we present to you the countdown and curtain raiser.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now I invite Mr. Akhilesh, IMA President. Thank you. Now I invite Mr. Akhilesh Rathi, President of IMA, to give the welcome address. When we have all the speakers, if you have any questions, you can send us the slips.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. That's the energy needed at IMA. There is a saying at IMA that there are 20, 30 presidents working all the time. And I am just by name and designation named as president. But what you see today, the entire energy is all the IMA committee members, the board members, and whom we call very dearly as Team IMA. So I'm welcoming you all on behalf of the Team IMA, a very warm and hearty welcome to all of you. Warm welcome to our honorable speakers, respected delegates, and dear students. Welcome to the 30th International Management Conclave hosted by the Indore Management Association. In these 2 days, we'll have exciting time with 23 speakers spread over 15 sessions, speaking on the theme of reinvent, evolve, and lead. Speaking is not just the lectures, there are fireside chats, there are panel discussions, and there are for young people, for startups, there are side sessions which will benefit them. IMA, you will be delighted to know, was formed in 1963, and this is the 30th International Management Conclave hosted at Indore. I am also happy to share that IMA has been adjudged as the best management association in the country 15 times. Further glad to share that last 3 years we have continuously won the award. Welcome our guest of honors in the inaugural session, Shri Sanjay Agarwal, Managing Director and CEO, AU Small Bank. Of course, the name is Small Bank, but he is a big bank now. So welcome, sir. Shri Gopalji Kabra, who is the Managing Director and President of the RR Cable Group. Shri Sanjay Jain, Managing Director of TT Limited, a very famous author and an industry leader. And of course, our own Dr. Himanshu Rai, the Director of IIM Indore. You know, as a child, we have grown seeing one blue tin dabba. The tin dabba contained coconut oil. And as a child till now, the only thing that has changed in our coconut oil, that it has become from a tin dabba, a tin box, to a nice blue bottle of different shapes. The credit of this transformation and building the largest brand of coconut oil in the country goes to none other than Mr. Harsh Mariwala, who is the chairman of Marico Limited. We welcome him. He is our awardee for the Lifetime Achievement Award for the last year, 2021. Another brand which has made important inroads in our life is Fevicol. We all, if you think of an adhesive, Fevicol, Fevikwik, Fevistick, M-Seal, and nowadays Dr. Fixit as waterproofing chemical. The person behind the grand success of this organization, which has made Mr. Madhukar Parekh the 16th richest Indian on the Forbes list, chairman of Pidilite, is our Lifetime Achievement Awardee for the year 2022. We heartily welcome Mr. Madhukar Parekh as well. Those who are patronizing IMA for last many decades must be surprised over this change, because we have been hosting all our programs in the Abhay Prashal, which was a sports arena, wherein there are 3,000 students in the galleries and about 1,000 people from the corporates on the floor. There has been a continuous demand to accommodate more corporates, more industries, more professionals, more business entrepreneurs. Therefore, with increased capacity of 50%, we have shifted it to Brilliant Convention Center. So welcome all the delegates, all the new companies, all the new businesses who are supporting IMA. In fact, this year also, there are 21 student chapters from 21 colleges. More than 2,000 students are there online. So welcome all the students. Even today here, we have more than 300 students in this hall. Welcome all my young friends. There is a welcome to all the 23 speakers. I have mentioned about our awardees and the gentlemen on the dais. But I also welcome Mr. Anand Sen, Managing Director of Tata International Limited, Mr. Sunil Rohkale, Managing Director of ASK Investments, Dr. Satya Gupta, Founder and CEO of VLSI Society, Mr. MP Vijay Kumar, who is the CFO of SIFI, Lieutenant General Dr. Rajesh Pant, Cyber Security Expert in the Prime Minister's Office, Mr. Anubrata Viswas, who is the Managing Director of Airtel Payment Bank, Ms. Richa Anirudh, author and media personality, Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, Ms. Meenakshi Lekhi, and in the end today, we'll hear the words of wisdom from none other than Swami Gyan Vatsalji from BAPS, Ahmedabad. That will end the day 1. On day 2, again, it's a power-packed session. I will request you all to make the best of it. We have Ms. Usha Barwale, who is the Managing Director of Maheko Seeds, Padam Shri Savji Bhai Dholakia, Hare Krishna Exports, the Diamond King of the country. Then we have the most coveted, most respected spiritual leader, Mahatriya Ra, the head of Infinitum, Mr. Gunjan Shah, MD of Bata Limited, Mr. Nilesh Shah, Managing Director of Kotak Mutual Fund, Mr. Bala, sorry, and of course our motivational leader, Mr. Simarjeet Singh, who has been a champion motivational life coach. Welcome, welcome all of you. Thank you very much for coming to Indore on our invite and blessing with your words of wisdom to IMA. Thank you very much.
There is an announcement that for session plan, you can scan the QR code at the tent on your table. You will get the session plan in your hand. Thank you. And before I invite our next speaker, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, MD of AU Small Finance Bank, we will present his introduction.
Mr. Sanjay Agarwal. Sanjay Agarwal is the founder, MD and CEO of AU Bank, India's largest small finance bank. He's first-generation entrepreneur, true visionary, a pioneer of financial inclusion and one of India's most dynamic self-made business leaders. Within the very first year of starting its banking operation, AU Bank became a scheduled commercial bank and a Fortune India 500 company. Today, AU Bank is the largest small finance bank of India. Sanjay is a strong believer of Make in India approach. Sanjay and Jyoti Agarwal Foundation works in the areas of education for the underprivileged, road safety and digital empowerment. He's a recipient of many accolades. Some of them are EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2018, ET Now Innovative Leader of the Year 2017, Economic Times Game Changer of India 2019, Business Leader of the Year 2018 by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Please welcome the man whose passion is to inspire and energize everyone to live their best life, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Namaskar. इंदौर की सुबह इट्स अमेजिंग फॉर मी और सुबह उतरते इतनी अच्छा मौसम था और आपका 56 व्हाट यू कॉल दैट 56 रास्ता पे पोहा भी अच्छा मिलता है एंड देन थैंक यू अखिलेश जी फॉर कॉलिंग मी हेयर आई एम ट्राइंग फ्रॉम लास्ट 3 years to be here and present myself, but I think this year the day came in, so thank you so much. And what a brilliant way to start. What a powerful speakers, from professor itself, मेरी तो इच्छा हो रही है कि मैं IIM इंदौर में एडमिशन ही ले लेता हूँ आज, because the way he spoke and the way he narrated is amazing. And then of course the student from IIM Ahmedabad, Sanjay साहब का pinch of salt can be so good. So I think मैं भी आज सुबह सीख रहा हूँ and सर का experience is amazing to come and see and experience and all those things. So मैं भूल गया हूँ कि मुझे बोलना क्या है, but let me try my best because I never prepare my speeches, my narratives. It's always come from my heart, and I can get inspired for everybody sitting on and off desk, an entire student community downhill. So thank you so much again. So before I begin, just want to tell you that my story actually began from 1990, so first 20 years, from 70 to 90, I remained more of a cricketer than anything else. पर 90 में बापू ने बोला कि बेटे बहुत दिन हो गए क्रिकेट खेलते हुए, अब क्या करेगा? So, and then I had no clue, honestly, that what should I do, because I was so engrossed in my cricketing days that I need to become a next Tendulkar of the country, but figured out very quickly that being a government servant's son, it's not your right to express yourself much more on the ground because it doesn't allow that way. So, kuch karo bhaiya. So, I entered into my CA days and I began pursuing those days. So, I think 1990 for me is very crucial year for myself because I started doing CA, and many of us would relate that year because that was not a great year for India. We just lost Rajiv Gandhi in 89 or 90. I didn't remember the right date, but maybe those days. And we were under stress as an economy. We were not performing. And I think thereon, to be very honest, 1991, when Mr. Manmohan Singh Saab gave us first financialization, everything turned around, And it's good now, 33 years, my professional career and India story relates, because I started as my student of CA and done my 95, my chartered accountancy, and then started this company, which we known as now AU Bank. It's got related because whole globalization, whole reforms came in that 5 years. The banking sector, which was more nationalized, got the private license in 94, 93. Whole insurance sector, whole telecom, entire internet, entire things were placed in the place in those years, Of course, I always believe that जब भी कोई चीज़ अच्छी होती है, वो थोड़े दिन के लिए नीचे भी आती है, right? So we saw 95 to 2003 again, something coming up, something going down. But post 2003 again, things become stronger and stronger. And last 20 years, we have seen amazing India, right? Complete transformation in terms of how we think before 90 and how we are acting post those days, Right from our tech world, right from the banking, right from the manufacturing, right from the service sector, social sector, everything, has just completely changed in last 33 years. So that's the hope I have. Because हम कई बार सोचते हैं कि इंडिया में बहुत कुछ हुआ नहीं है, बट आई थिंक जो कुछ हुआ है फ्यूचर में जो भी होने वाला है मेरे हिसाब से वो पास्ट का उस पर एक डायरेक्शन होता है, और वही एयू में भी हुआ, मेरी लाइफ में भी हुआ और इंडिया में भी हो रहा है. एंड दैट्स द होप आई वांट टू ब्रिंग टू एवरीबडी इन दिस क्राउड दैट वी नीड टू बी सो होपफुल अबाउट इंडिया बिकॉज इंडिया इज़ वेरी स्पेशल इन दैट सेंस कि कुछ नहीं होते हुए भी 1990 में वी वर जस्ट क्लोज टू व्हाट $600 billion economy. Now we are around $3.5 trillion economy, right? And we are growing by average 6% in last 30 years. Average 6% in last 30 years is phenomenal, right? Our capital market is booming. Our tech market is booming. Our startup is booming, So, ये सब हुआ क्यों है? Because I think I believe that as a society, we are very resilient. We walk through to our whole problems and come out from all those things and build all these things, right? So, and that's the whole AU also. यदि आप मेरे से पूछते हैं कि AU start कैसे हुआ, right? So AU never started as a company, honestly. For me, it was for more livelihood. If you go back in 95, when I passed out, my whole challenge was this, that I do not want to go out of the Jaipur, which was my comfort zone. But I just want to stay there and want to work upon. But 96 was the era where the whole private lending space was coming up, through NBFCs and through all those things. So I picked up the idea from there and started building company from HNI money, the high net worth individuals, to lend me some money so that I can further lend and have some kind of business model there. But I think for me, that was not the only company which I started. I started around 7, 8 companies. And Mr. Rai told his narrative that failure should not get you bogged down, right? Rather, it should inspire you. So I started with 8, 9 companies from 95 to 2003, but only succeeded in AU because that was my strength. That was the area where I discovered myself that this is the line which I want to take off, right? And 2003 onwards, lot many things happened around me, like private money came in, the bank money came in, and the private capital came in. So I think that is the way we have grown ourselves, right? And I just want to say you that the story of India and the story of AU coincides, right? Because जैसे जैसे India बढ़ता जा रहा था, वैसे वैसे AU बढ़ता जा रहा था, right? And I was very firm that 2 to 3 things are very important to build company. One, the team. You cannot build any company if you're not building your team, right? You cannot build anything if you are not governed. You know, your compliance is not too good, right? You have to be compliant in every sense. You have to build your team. You have to have a viable business model. You have to think big. You have to think for long term, right? And I think that is the way, you know, we have built ourselves from 2003 to now 2023, right? And, you know, to be very honest, who would have thought that the banking license guideline came in 2014, right? And we were working from last 20 years. So I was never preparing myself to have a license of bank, right? Which is the most powerful license in this country, in my opinion, right? Because it allows me to interact every individual of this country, right? So, but in 2014, can you excuse me? I just want to water. So when we applied for the license in 2014, you know, we never imagined that we would get this license, right? But to surprise to us, you know, we really got that in 2015. You know, out of 75 applications, we were the one among them, right? And for me, it was again a cloud-9 situation where we never thought that a boy who was a first-generation entrepreneur, never had capital in '96, you know, just want to do something for his livelihood, who has his comfort zone was Jaipur, you know, got the license in 2014, which is one of the most powerful license of any kind of business, you know. Because in this license, you get the license to actually raise uncollateralized, unlimited money from deposits, as deposits, right, from public. And 2015, when we started, when we got the license, you know, many businesses, you know, across India actually challenged us that how come you got the license from Jaipur, you know, and what you can do now, right? Because Jaipur is not that big city where you can hire talent, you can hire much knowledge to build a bank and then run a bank, right? But I think I was determined that I want to start bank from Jaipur only. मुझे ऐसा पूरा विश्वास था कि यार बैंक तो मैं जयपुर से ही चालू करूँगा और वहीं से सक्सेसफुल बनाऊँगा because if you go to Bombay, you know, largely सारी जो conferences होती हैं वैसे भी आप पता है बॉम्बे में होती है. It's not that I'm first time any North India I'm coming here and addressing IMA because largely every conference is in Bombay only. So I was so determined that no, I need to start a bank from North India and that too from my home state because it will allow me to inspire many other people on the ground, right? So that's the way we started our journey in 2017. We got listed in 2017 itself, and it was a huge IPO in that time, you know. And in the last 5 years, you know, I just want to give some data point. Like, you know, we were around 10,000 crore of assets in 2017. Now we are around 80,000 crore assets, you know. We were around 3,000 people. We are now 30,000 people. We have a zero liability base, but we have now 60,000 liability base. We were around 200 branches. Now we are around 1,000 plus branches. You know, we were around only 10 states. We are now around 22 states. And we are now largest small finance bank of this country out of the 10, right? So I think this is the how. But ये सब हुआ क्यों है, right? I think बहुत कुछ बताया speakers ने. I just want to repeat that. For me, the important thing is the team. If you don't have a team, if you don't empower them, you don't properly delegate them, even you don't trust them, you know, you won't get a success. So आपको delegate भी करना पड़ेगा, आपको trust भी करना पड़ेगा, आपको उनको empower भी करना पड़ेगा, and also to let them do mistakes, you know, and also get related to the whole mission, you know, to build on, right? So शायद हमारी team में जो सबसे अच्छा हुआ था कि we were all from North India, Jaipur, small city, And we were very much determined to build something. क्योंकि हमारे पास कुछ भी नहीं था खोने के लिए, right? So I think everybody came along and tried to do his best. And I think that was the one secret sauce we done it. And largely, banking is not a rocket science. If you carefully see the business model, is the public money going to public, right? What should we do in between? We only bring efficiency to it. We only bring innovation to it. We only bring, kind of ecosystem where people feel comfortable to bank with us. That is why I'm saying you that I think the most powerful license in this world is only banking license in a business terms, because it does not require anything. ना मैं कुछ बना रहा हूँ, ना मैं कुछ बेच रहा हूँ, ना मुझे बहुत सारा innovation करना है, because it's a highly regulated kind of ecosystem. There are very spelled down rules from regulators that आपको ऐसे ही करना है, आपको ऐसे ही करना है. But I should share you with something which which relate to your whole theme, that reinvent, and of course evolve and lead. Because जैसा आपने कहा कि how to understand, बहुत regulated bank हैं, बहुत सारे rules होते हैं, you can't do much around it. But we figured out 5-6 things in those times that how we make AU Bank very special one, right? And the number one was this, that can we pay monthly interest on saving accounts? Because I don't know how many people know about here that you've been charged by bank on every month basis. जितने भी लोग लोन लेते हैं यहाँ पे उनको पता होगा. I know SBI अपना यहाँ का sponsor है, but they don't pay you monthly interest on your saving account. They pay you around quarterly basis. But we started saying this, that we want to pay you monthly interest on saving, because if we charge you monthly, we want to pay you back on monthly. I think that was the reinvent we done in our business, and then get evolved, and then started leading there, right? We also said that anywhere banking, हम सब बैंक वाले बोलते हैं anywhere banking है, anywhere banking है, किसी भी branch में आप जाइए anywhere banking होगी, but ऐसा होता नहीं है. You are a branch customer, But we started saying that you are not a branch customer, you are a bank customer. Because wherever you open an account and wherever you go and see the branch, just walk there, right? I think that was the second one. We started one, paperless. Because मैं देखता था बहुत पेपर पे काम करते हैं, because कुछ भी चीज़ बैंक से मांगिए, एप्लीकेशन लिखिए, right? या RTS फॉर्म करना है तो RTS का फॉर्म भरिए, DD बनना है तो DD का फॉर्म भरिए. We actually eliminated everything. हमने कहा आप खाली अंगूठा दिखाइए. Because if you have opened an account through digital, then there is no need of your sign, right? So I think these are the small things we reinvented in the banking and started building the bank, right? And that is why we become a huge hit in our customer side. कि यार ये बैंक थोड़ा हमारी तरह सोचता है, जो हमको चाहिए वो सोचता है. So I think that's the way we have built AU in last 5-6 years, and we want to be like this. And हमारा एक tagline भी है, बदलाव हमसे है. I think that also goes with your present scenario of this country, जहाँ पे हम सब लोग सोच रहे हैं कि यार बदलाव करते हैं. And just to share you data point, why banks are becoming so much advanced or so much close to your heart, because of digital nowadays. वो जमाने गए जब 2:30 बजे तक ही कैश जमा होता था. वो जमाने गए जब ब्रांच नहीं दिखती थी, ऐसा लगता था कोई सिक्योरिटी सिस्टम है, मतलब आर्म्ड गार्ड होते थे बाहर. वो जमाने सब चले गए हैं, राइट? आज का ज़माना है बैंक हैज़ टू बी अवेलेबल 24/7, और हो गए हैं सारे बैंक, राइट? RTGS, IMPS, जो भी आप पेमेंट करना चाहते हैं वो 24/7 अवेलेबल, राइट? सो आई थिंक दोज थिंग्स everybody needs to understand, because business तो शायद वही रहने वाला है, but तरीके बदलने वाले हैं. Professor, I was saying about the whole AI. बिल्कुल AI होने वाला है, because what is chatbot is all about? Banking. आप फ़ोन करिए, आप जो क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं वो chatbot रिप्लाई देता है आपको. तो it's about AI only. So adoption is the key now. I think we as a citizen of this country need to adopt every change which is coming to our favor, and also part of the change also, which is AU is doing over the years. And I think these are these small learnings. But if you ask me, Sanjay, what is your basic thing, which drives you on daily basis. I think the whole opportunity size of this country, as you know, I'm telling you again and again that we are the largest SFB of this country. But can I share you some data point like, the total size of deposit in this country is around 170 lakh crore. And we are just 0.4. हमारे पास खाली 60,000 crores हैं, and we are the largest SFB in this country, right? Come 10 years down the line, if you take 2-3% of the whole opportunity, I don't know what size we'll get to there. The loan size is around 130 lakh crore. We are just 60,000 crores. Again, 0.3, 0.4. So I think the size is so huge in this country, and I'm saying to everybody sitting down the line that you guys have to be just train yourself. You just have to make your mindset that you want to be the leader of this country next maybe 20, 30 years, because the way we are progressing so well, I think the opportunity won't be a challenge, because जो 30 साल में हुआ है, I think अगले 10 साल में हो जाएगा. जो अगले 10 साल में होगा, वो शायद I think अगले 1 साल में हो जाएगा. And why I am saying this? Because we are democratic, right? We have a very high level of democracy in this country. We are very well diverse, We are very resilient. We are fighters, We are highly tech oriented kind of mindset in this country now, So which is next oil for us, So I think these are the things which every youngster should think through, should try to build themselves. और कुछ भी नामुमकिन नहीं है, Because a guy like me, who had never had the capital in 96, now has a net worth of around 10,000 crores, asset of 80,000 crores in 33 years, is just unbelievable, और ये सब हुआ क्यों है? Because of the country rather than me, honestly. Because the opportunity this country gave me. So I think execution will be the key, your mindset will be the key, your fighting spirit will be the key. We'll have too much competition. लोग बहुत हैं इंडिया में. So ऐसा नहीं है कि सब केक वॉक होगा. But I think important ये रहेगा कि how you people adopt to those things, how you can see tomorrow. कल क्या होने वाला है, ये बहुत important है, आपके दिमाग में आना चाहिए कि कल क्या हो सकता है, क्या होने वाला है. You have to read that and then execute your plans. I think these are the things which I strongly believe, and I think the one example can be like your own municipal Indore Municipal Corporation issued green bond. किस municipal corporation ने आज तक green bond issue किया? And that got supplied by 5 times, Huge round of applause for your own municipal bond, because ये सब ही change है, right? This is the way we want to invent ourselves, we want to lead ourselves, we want to evolve ourselves. So I think this is the whole so that's why I'm excited that India is so progressing in every side, every way. So I think we need to actually make ourselves in that bracket, that zone. Yes, we have to believe in ourselves, we need to be more in a mindset of fighting spirit, competition होगा, मैं अपने आप को organize कैसे करूँ, knowledge कैसे लूँ, how should I move forward is the most important thing. So thank you so much, sir, for listening to me and giving this opportunity. Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you, sir, making from your small bank to big bank. Thank you. Friends, you heard the 4 stories of India's growth enablers. We have got so many questions, but we have limited time to give to Q&A. So I'll ask first question to Dr. Himanshu Rai. You have the cordless mic near you. This question comes from Vaishnav Vishwavidyapith. What prompted you to launch the elective course on justice, ethics and morality?
Okay, so this is an interesting one. It was such a long time back that I organized this course called Justice, Ethics and Morality, and happens to be a super subscribed course. The reason was threefold, in fact. The first reason was that I realized that many of my students who used to come to me were a little confused about the difference between good and bad and right and wrong. And they said, look, good and bad is something which is told to us by our religion, by our community, by our parents. So is it the same as ethics? And therefore, I wanted to differentiate between morality and ethics. That was one. The second reason was something that had happened in 2008. So, I started teaching leadership from 2006, and the definition of leadership at that point of time that was given in social sciences was that leadership is a process by which a person influences others to accomplish an objective and directs the organization in such a way that makes it cohesive and coherent. And I thought, brilliant, all encompassing. And then in 2008, something happened. And what happened? Satyam happened. Ramalingam Raju happened. I mean, here was a company called Satyam, and here was a person called Ramalingam. And then he scanned the country in such a way that 0.4% of our GDP got shaved down in that particular year itself. Of course, the Enrons had happened in 2001, and therefore we were already aware. And thus I said, here's a person who was revered so much. Where did he go wrong? And I realized that the definition of leadership actually lacked the presence of a moral compass. So that was my second reason. And the third reason was, every time I would talk about that definition, I would ask people to name some leaders who matched that definition. And people would name the usual, Mahatma Gandhi, J.R.E. Tata, and so on and so forth. However, the very first time I conducted this exercise, somebody also mentioned Hitler. Somebody also mentioned Osama bin Laden. And then when I looked at the definition, I realized that these two people also matched that definition. So there was nothing wrong with the people who were naming these people. There was something which was missing in the definition itself. And what was missing was the concept of fairness. And thus came to me the idea that instead of talking to people only about passion, look at the villains of the history. Everyone was passionate. What they lacked was compassion. And therefore, I thought I have to also talk about compassion, and that can come under justice, ethics, and morality.
Very right, sir. Passion to compassion. We have next question from Patanjali Foods for Mr. Kabra. And it says that SMEs in India have two categories. One is those who evolve and get ready for emerging opportunities. And second is those who always complain to government for support. How can second category be brought to first?
It's a mindset. Very simple. Second category, see, for SME, in this budget, there's a tremendous support. Government has given that if you don't get payment on time, through whom supply, he has to pay the tax.
Right.
So their financial point, this is the first time there is a total preference in this government for SME. It's very high. There is no issue. We also started SME. I have also, right now, we have some couple of business other than Agarwal, which are SME, and we are very happy. See, it's a simple, think differently, think long term, and focus on to create a foundation of your organization. Things will be changed.
Very good. We have next question from Mohini Fibers for Mr. Sanjay Jain. That Indian textile industry has been one of the largest employer traditionally. How can we grab global markets and remove unemployment from India?
I think so that's the dream of the government also. And I think so textiles, and like many other industries, is a global industry. And we should not compartmentalize us as a domestic industry, as an international industry. We should not only think global, a lot of us think global, but we don't act, but we act local. But if you want to be an international player, also act global, integrate and benchmark yourselves with the best in the world. Don't look at Indian companies, look at what's happening best in the world and focus and grow towards it. And as Mr. Kabra said, even if you're an MSME, please be focused, plan, dream big, have a vision, and I'm sure you'll capture global markets, because if we don't capture global markets, our industry is really not going to grow more than the Hindu rate of growth. So the real opportunity for Indian textile industry lies in that large global market which China is slowly vacating, and China +1 is now there to stay, and let that +1 be India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have another question for Mr. Sanjay Agarwal from CA Alok Jain. That suddenly small finance has become big business. How can it really give a push and momentum to growth in economy and employment?
Sorry, you did repeat the question, sorry.
Small finance has become big business now.
Yeah.
How can it really give a push and momentum to growth in economy and employment?
No, I think we got this small because the structure was this, that it was a special vehicle for do a small financing, do priority sector, all those things. But that doesn't mean that we cannot scale up, right? And as I told you that we were around maybe 5 lakh customers in 2017, being an NBFC. But now we are around 3.5 million customers, right? We were around 3,000 people as employees. Now we are 30,000 employees, right? We were around in 10 states. Now we are around 20 states. So I think you have to design your whole business model in a way that it is scalable, right? Has to be scalable. It has to be standardized. Has to be sustainable. So if you do these 3 things, then you can build a franchise. And if you build a franchise, then I think everything comes in play, which is whether you want to build more for your Indian economy or a world economy, or maybe you want to push for employees. I think then is a ripple effect which comes in play, right? So I think small is just a word, in my opinion, but you need to build more and more into it. Let's build more content. Let's build more kind of models which can be scalable. And then you get everything you want, right? So I think as far we are concerned, we know that we are a small finance bank, but we can operate like a big bank also, if our design allows us to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Rakesh, I just want to add one thing. This concept that there is unemployment in the country, I think so it's a myth. Anyone who wants to work today in our country will find a job and an opportunity for sure, the way we are growing. Thank you.
Sanjay ji,
Issue is only of skill and unskill, right? Yeah.
Sanjay ji, there was one question which was very insistent to ask, although I am exceeding, is why do you recommend writing your own obituary? Sanjay ji.
That means someone has read my book.
Yes, someone has read your book. Yeah.
I think so, to find your real goals of life. It's the last chapter of my book. The best part is you sit down and feel after 5 years, if you're no more, and you had to write your own obituary yourself. I think so you do sit down and pen that down. You'll find your real objective of life, and you'll stop postponing things in life, and you'll get on to doing what you really want to do.
Thank you, sir.
Because that is the biggest truth of life.
Thank you, sir. My dear friends, we had a wonderful session on India's growth enablers. I can say that 75 years back, we had made a tryst with destiny to bring back our past glory. We have seen in this session that India's growth enablers are making this possible and inspiring all of us that in this Amrit Kal, India can reinvent and evolve so that we can lead the world. I can borrow words from my favorite poet, Dushyant, to share feelings of all of you that कि सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करना मेरा मकसद नहीं, सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करना मेरा मकसद नहीं, मेरी कोशिश है कि ये सूरत बदलनी चाहिए, मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही, हो कहीं भी आग लेकिन आग जलनी चाहिए, आग जलनी चाहिए. Let this fire ignite our growth to lead the world. Now I invite Ms. Preeti Ladda and Mr. Sapan Shah to carry on the proceedings of award ceremony. Thank you everyone. Thank all of you.